Evening, Gasheads. We're back. Welcome back to another episode. We're finally back together. It has been a while. Like we said, we've all been busy with different stuff, chilling in Spain, moving to Wales and all that stuff. But yeah, we are back. I hope you enjoy this. Apologies, it's been a while, but of course we've had the video stuff instead. But yeah, plenty to get through. Thanks to everyone that's tuning in right now. As always, you know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe. Subscribe to Josh. Leave your comments in now. If you're watching it on the replay, then of course leave your prediction. Leave any questions you've got after as well. But yeah, I mean, where to even start? Obviously, first of all, I obviously posted the other day, but yeah, there was no reaction the other night because this channel would have been cancelled. Basically, I was so. Yeah, I don't think I've not been so angry in a long time, and obviously we haven't seen a worse performance in that in a long time. But yeah, we'll get into our thoughts obviously on the game. We've got Cole from the Fan Zone pod coming on in around 20-25 minutes after we get all our anger and whatever out, all our thoughts out. But yeah, also Fan Hub, the code's below. Check that out as well. Follow the socials as well if you haven't already, Insta and Twitter. Obviously, yeah, Tom Butler on about Brady. But yeah, thanks to everyone tuning in. Chris, Harry, Tom Butler, everyone else in the chat, Thatchers and Sam. And yeah, thanks to everyone tuning in. Obviously, before the game, I was the only one that predicted us to win. You two both went with a draw. And yeah, for me, I wasn't happy with the lineup. First of all, I know there was going to be a few changes, but I just didn't really get the way that we went with. But I'll get on to your thoughts, Neil, first. Yeah, obviously you haven't been on. You've been away, enjoying obviously time with the family, getting a little tan and all that stuff. But obviously you've still been watching the games. But yeah, we won't worry about Blackpool. Me and Josh had enough pain that being there and whatever. But yeah, thoughts on the Orient game from start to finish. What did it look as bad on the telly than it was at the game?
Yeah, it's painful. It's painful, isn't it? Like I've told you before, I don't pay no attention to stats. I'm not a stats man, but those stats will tell you everything you pretty much need to know about what didn't go on in that game. But I've said it before, like you can't. Like you've come away from that game absolutely raging about it, but it's to be expected from this lot. Like this group throws stinkers out there every now and then, and like I've said before, the best we've been, if we're going to go on the benchmark of the best we've been this season, which is what Charlton at home, what we've been efficient at best. Like we're not a good side. And the games we come away with where we've got good points, like we rode our luck, and if they've been robberies, absolute robberies. I mean, it's no surprise when like we've got a lone goalkeeper, which is our standout performer at the minute because he's that busy. Like I know we'll talk about Orient in depth, but just a generalisation of what I've said week on week. But what are we on? 18 games in now. Not a clue what this club's what this side's meant to be. Not a clue what it's meant to be. Like you can tolerate it if you can say, do you know what? We're set up to be something, but we're not very good at it.
Yeah,
we're not even that. Like you can't tell me what we're meant to be, and whatever it is, there's not an element of our game that we're half decent at. Like like I said, the best we've been is efficient at riding our luck and grinding out a result through a bit of hard work and endeavour. That's what I mean. Rovers have to be near enough perfect at all the fundamentals just to get some form of positive result. Yeah. And then if you're going to do that over the further 4 games, like I said, you talk about a lot of players in this squad are like certain individuals, and I keep coming back to it. When the minute you start saying stuff like, but they're good on their day, you've not got a prayer. Because good on your day means probably 1 in 8, 1 in 12. You can't do it. You can't do it. And like Orient's just an example of it all come crashing down and it being that bad. And then somewhere down the line, they'll go and jag a result somewhere like we did at Mansfield, and it'll paper over a little crack here and there. But ultimately, not a great side. I had us down at 16th, and
even that looked positive.
And at the minute, you're trying to find 4 worse sides than us in the race to May of finding 4 worse sides than us as we sort of keep creeping along, because I've spoke before about little green shoots of positivity in there, but they get dashed away so quickly.
Yeah.
Like I've said it before, I've got no connection to this group. There's nothing. There's nothing to cling on to. I've got no. Yeah. There's nothing there. So Orient was just an example of a bad side playing against a side that didn't have to work desperately hard. They beat us 3-0, but they didn't have to work desperately hard for what they got. You know, no. They were bang average at best. We were horrible, and at no point in that game did Rovers go into any form of gear to say, you know what, we're going to start testing and asking questions for 10 minutes. There was nothing. Orient had it easy, absolute doddle.
Yeah, 100%. Even to Ben, Joe and Ben asking where I think Josh is in the basement of Chasers as we speak. So he's
I'm literally just watching the football, lads. That's all it is. But I felt like I was going to have a seizure. Christ.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Ben's right. You know, it has been coming, and there's been plenty of games this season. Like you said, Neil. You had Cambridge, but they were awful. You had Charlton, who, yes, we scored 3 goals, but yeah, they were awful. And then I just don't. It's just, I've almost run out of words, to be honest. Where you look at, scoring goals is a real problem. We've now played more games than we've scored goals. That's when you know it gets bad, when you've scored less goals than the games you've played. And yeah, I mean, Josh, what did you make of that game? I mean, obviously we spoke yesterday about it, but yeah, after a few days, and yeah, what's your thoughts on everything? Performances, what's going on, what you've seen on Tuesday?
I'll try and keep this as brief as possible. We are shit. I don't really know what else to say, mate. Like, I did my team sheet post or whatever earlier accidentally, but anyway, as I was researching into that, we've scored 4 goals in the last 7 league games. We're shit. Like it's not. And I I'm not a big swearer or anything, but it is just shit. Like, we're not exciting. We aren't good. We don't do anything to make me think that we are going to score, but we do everything to make me think that we're going to concede. We never batter a team. And if we're going to win, it's a 1-0 or a 2-0. Everyone talks about this Charlton game is the benchmark. We also were terrible for the last 20 minutes of that game and almost lost it.
We could have, if that game went on more, we could have lost that easy.
It's gonna be a chore to go on Saturday now. And the missus said to me the other day, she went, "How did the game go, my love?" I said, "Oh, we lost 3-0. She went, "Oh," she said, "does that mean you might not be going on Saturday?" And I said, "No, I'll still go." In my brain, I'm thinking, why?
Yeah, I'm the same.
Why? If I didn't do my match day vlogs, bro, I don't think I'd go, because we're just shit. Like, we're so bad. Like, we're so bad. And it is like, for me at the age of 28 years of age, like, I still find this deflating. My old man would say, "Mate, this is just Rovers." Like, it's crap, absolutely crap. I envied Neil being away in Spain, not just because he was in Spain with with his missus and his little one. Like, that sounds lovely on its own, but just the fact that he was so far away from this.
so far away.
Like, it just... I mean,
Yeah, on the flip side of that, I go into a bar to reserve a telly on a moody stick, surrounded by Champions League games, and I've got Bristol Rovers Blackpool up.
Yeah, and that game.
Love that. I mean, I don't drink alcohol, but I could start drinking this week.
The thing is, like, I know you're saying we're shit and we are shit and all the rest of it, but do you know what shit does? It runs downhill and it comes from the top and it filters down onto the pitch.
Fair.
It's shit from top to bottom.
The whole club. I mean, one thing that just to very briefly mention, that Gascast interview with the vice president. At one point, they said the feeling around the club at the minute is quite stale and quite flat. And he went, "Let me ask you a minute, why is that?" And I thought, "Are you blind? Like, what do you mean, why is that? It's so obvious why we're so bad at the minute, and it's like it's so difficult as well because I honestly I can't even be asked to relive Blackpool and Leyton Orient in my brain right now. Honestly, so bad, bad.
I mean, the problem is it's been gradually getting, obviously Joey, before he got sacked, we weren't on the best run of form.
We weren't this bad though.
No, obviously not.
I don't think anyway.
No, but obviously that Burton game was obviously mad. The one before the Stevenage game where it was 4-1. But yeah, it's we've obviously talked about it in quite a few stages after different games. After the Wickham game, after Huddersfield. But it's gradually been getting worse, and I've never in a long time, I can't remember even the Mem being so, like you said, being a chore to go and watch a game at home. Yeah. Like, and the Mem being so dead. Like, I remember last year, we weren't even that good last year, but I was in the Thatchers end, and like, when it's bad when the Thatchers is absolutely dead. Like, obviously I'm in the south side now, and you can just see and you just hear nothing, like, everywhere. And that's got worse and worse. The results, I remember we did, I can't remember after what game. It might have been the Huddersfield one where we did an episode, and people were saying, "Oh, when do you get rid of Taylor and all this stuff?" But like you said, it's just everything. Like, I'll quickly get my thoughts on Tuesday. Like I said, this channel would have been cancelled if I'd have done it straight after the game, so I've left it. But yeah, everything that the Blackpool game was, but 100 times worse. Like, battles, what do they do in training? You've seen Orient. They clearly had a clear plan. The football, even though we were crap, the football they played, they've obviously worked on that, and they would. 5 passes, they were on the edge of our box. It was so painful when we had a shot. When was it that Sinclair had that shot? The 90th minute, first corner over the 90th minute. Midfield. The goals we conceded. Goal from a set piece. I think Mola lost his man. Taylor Moore with an awful touch. Obviously, it was a great finish. Even Mola, like, he's been probably our second best player of the season. Even when he does stuff like that, just tries to, let the ball go out.
Hayner, Charlie. Yeah. Sorry, the performance on Leyton Orient was worse than your Wi-Fi right now, mate.
Is it?
You are crack-a-lacking, bro. You frozen. That's what you sound like right now.
Is it that bad? Is it? It should be.
Either that, or you're turning into Busta Rhymes.
I don't even know.
It's all good, but yeah, it was. We missed half of that, mate. You got to Mola, and then we missed it. I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's on my phone as well, so. The phone Wi-Fi has been good recently, so But yeah,
sorry to interrupt you, mate. It's just you were saying some really good points. I just wanted to give you a quick break before everyone misses everything because your Wi-Fi went a bit weird.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, apologies if it is. Yeah, that just sums
I
it up.
thought Charlie was rapping.
I might as well just cancel everything. It's I don't know.
Oh, jokes.
Yeah, Ben's saying it seems alright for him. I don't know.
Yeah, now it's now. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's just Josh's Wi-Fi. I don't know. Maybe it's them tunes in the background. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, everything was just leadership. Like I've already said, what the hell they do in training? Still no style of play. I think Ben Darrell tweeted it, and it's exactly right. Sit behind the ball, go backwards, and just hoof it. And like, there's nothing. What annoys me though is that we had and people I know might say it's pre-season, but we had a style in pre-season with the 210s. We were pressing from the front, pressing as a team. Now it's a shambles. And like you said, when you're not having shots on target and stuff like that, then in back-to-back games as well, I think that's the most worrying thing. And everything. It was like, can any of you think of a worst performance like we've had?
Yeah, Accrington away.
What, in the COVID season?
Yeah, that was the most appalling thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I mean, I think
we scored that day,
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think it was Sammy Nicholson. Yeah, and
Fleetwood at home last year was a chore.
What game was that?
Fleetwood at home last year. That was a chore, wasn't
it? Yeah, Fleetwood.
Mate.
I don't even know. I really don't know. I was obviously I've just almost lost the words, and it's just getting so ridiculous right now. Like you both said, it's a chore. I don't know why I keep going to the games, like especially away games. Like, I don't even know anymore. Seriously, I'm like even with like in general, like even because like you've mentioned a lot, like you sort of live for the, been work busy and whatever. Then you get to the weekend or Tuesday night and you go to these games, and it's just like, what is the point? Seriously. Like,
I think people take their leave, their annual leave, their holiday and stuff, leave work early, like, get back at 2 a.m., go to work the next day, and it's just like, there is nothing at the minute like that would persuade me to go to an away game. There's nothing, because it's just like, did the players come over and clap you on Tuesday night?
Not really. They did, but it was like 1 second, and then honestly, it was. I told
like this.
Like for like literally a second. And it was only a few that done it, to be honest. Connor Taylor come over, Macca, but yeah, it was that bad, right? It was that bad. There were Rovers fans nearly fighting with each other. There were Rovers fans in the away and going like pretty much head to head, because it was that bad. When it's bad, when that starts happening as well. And honestly, I thought I'd seen some bad performances this season, but I think Tuesday sort of tops it for everyone. I think if those people that were sort of in the background, that we might struggle, or Taylor, or for those people that wanted Taylor to stay or whatever, I think that even that game may have, even though it's weird as well, because obviously he wasn't there, but we've seen it a lot of the season, and we've mentioned loads of times already this season, and people will said, wait for him to get his players, but it's continued, hasn't it? And a lot of sides also brought in so many players and they've gelled, but us, we're like, I don't even know. I mean, what's your guys' thought? I'll go with you, Neil. What's on like style of play and stuff like that? Why do you think there's been no change at all? Because it's literally like you said, we're going to games now, and it was like you said, Mansfield papered over the cracks because we wasn't good at. We defended well, and that's about it. And we had one shot on target and scored it. But why do you think it's so bad? And there's literally like no style, or there's no control. Like, we're not having control either. Like, why do you think it's so bad? And it has been not just this season, but even last season. And it's still the same, even with turnovers of players, different coaching staff. Why do you think it's still so bad?
I mean, there could be a number of elements that come into all of it, but I mean, I just think there's so much that screams out of uninterest from 18 games of this season, when you've got, like, I keep going back to it, Taylor looks like he sets us up to primarily not to get beat. That's what we look like. We look like a side that is set up not lose games.
Yeah.
Which comes with its own negativity and its own sort of energy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the overwhelming talk of interference from above. Now, like I said before, don't matter who's in the dugout, don't matter who's on the training ground, don't matter who you employ. If you've got that, you've got no hope. Taylor looks like a man who is, to me, is sat on his hands waiting to get sacked. Like, just pay me up and let me go. He doesn't. I don't know the fella, like, and he's probably a nice fella and all the rest of it, but he looks like a man who is fed up with everything. He looks like he's fed up with it, to be honest, which in itself suggests that something ain't right. Something ain't sitting great with him at the club. So either he can't do he's not being allowed to do his job properly. There's the interference. There's too much smoke without fire. And I know Matey Boy's done his little chat and he's told everyone what they want to hear, and that's what you're going to do, aren't you? You're gonna try and get everyone on side and get them eating out the palm of your hands. But ultimately, there's too much smoke without fire, and I just feel like the place is horrible from top to bottom. And I feel like Taylor probably wants to get paid up to go. The players aren't overly enthused about the football club itself. They don't see a way out of this. They don't see any positive light at the end of the tunnel. And there's a lot of lads there on big, long deals, and they've got to sit this out now. So
yeah, pretty much all of them are on 3 years.
You're playing for moves because your contract's up and you can go and do a bit and get your agent to get you out of there. Like, you're stuck with a lot of these lads, and then you can go back to the conversation about, well, yeah, but there is players now, but are they? Because you've got this model with George Friend now. So is he doing his job properly? However, he probably is doing his job properly because you can only do what you can do on a budget. We're not big hitters in this league. Like, there's only so much you can expect from what we're going to do. And like I talked about these owners before.
Well, you could spend a lot, though.
Have we spent a lot, though, in the grand scheme of things, of what you want to be as a top 6 side in this division? It ain't a lot. When you've got Jay Stansfield knocking around for 15 million, it's buttons.
Yeah.
So, and what Stockport are doing and all and even if you look at the infrastructure, like, we've got a south stand you could take apart with a socket set in 2 hours. Wicked. Do you know what I mean? You've got the quarters, but is it an elite level? It's probably not. I think Fleetwood's is probably better than ours. Like, we're not a great pool. We're not an attractive proposition for players. Like, our infrastructure isn't fantastic. The only way these owners are going to get us to this championship with this daft conversation on what they want us to do and all that is if they severely bankroll it. And I'm highly doubtful that they're going to do it. We're miles off as a football club, miles off of being anything that what is being spoken about, and we're in a right mess as far as I'm concerned. You got players that are probably unenthused and not all that interested at the minute on big deals. You got a head of recruitment that can only work with a certain budget, but again, I think mistakes have been made there. Like, the transfer fee is not Promise's fault, but I guarantee you, there's not a director of football or head of recruitment that's paying 700 grand for Promise. There's not. You can get better out there immediately. You don't have to be a project for that sort of money. You can go and get a centre forward that will score you goals now for that sort of money. I just think we've made big errors along the way. And like I said, shit runs downhill, and it comes from these lot that have come in, everything they've implemented to what they've put in place, the manager, the playing staff. None of it's good at the minute. None of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Josh, what's your thoughts on why do you think there still looks like, from a fan perspective when you're watching the game, why do you think there's still no style. Because, like you said, you could ask every Rovers fan in the comments, people wouldn't have a clue. We've been lucky in a lot of games. Even it's not just the last few games. Most of the season, creative-wise, we haven't been creating that lot. You know, our most creative player has been frozen out, basically. Like, there's injuries. It's obvious that something has happened there. Luke Thomas is still our most creative player and has created the most chances in the squad, even though he's played, 10 minutes in the last
36 minutes since the 28th of September in the league.
There you go. But even stuff like that, like, it's everything like that. But yeah, why do you think that the actual squad setup and when they're on the pitch and when you ask fans and why we're so poor and lackluster and why it's such a difference from when he was at Exeter? Like, why do you think it's so bad and there's still no style of play and it's just getting worse and worse and worse?
So what I'm going to say now, I also want people to forget that he was on leave, because firstly, our thoughts obviously are with him with that, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad family time, it's, we've all been there. Like, believe me. This is football only. Okay. Yeah. I heard someone say the other week or the other month, if you employ a boring manager, you get boring football. And I think that sums it up perfectly. We are so negative. All that happens is our players, our right backs are meant to be apparently the most creative people on the pitch because they overlap and put balls in the box. That's it. Nothing comes through the middle. We don't ever take a shot. I'm at loss for words here, because I look at Sotirio, I look at Shaq Ford, I look at Hutchinson alone and think, these guys got like 50, 60 goal contributions last season. Like, they have it in them. It has to be the manager and the tactics. I have heard from certain, how do I say this, people within the club as well, that there's not really much going on tactics-wise. There just isn't. And I remember a couple months ago, me and Neil had this conversation on here, and I said, yeah, but Matt Taylor doesn't tell the players to go out and, not shoot or not bury their chances or not play this person through. And Neil said it starts and ends with the manager. And I was like, well, I don't think that's true. I am now 110% sure that is the case. Because also as well, and I mean this lightly. I don't mean this is in the term anything other than football. Mm-hmm. I feel like the backroom staff are like a bunch of losers. Now, what I mean by that is not losers in like you having their friends. Like, I mean losers as in Horseman took Forest Green down. Do you know what I mean? Like, Matt Taylor, although, okay, he had that great Exeter season. That Rotherham season was awful. And since he's come to us, he's been absolutely... the football has been woeful. Like, I feel like our team isn't surrounded by, like, winners. There's not many promotion winners in the side. Like, it's like... I can't explain. I'm not saying you're a loser. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying...
I know what you're saying. Like, I know what you're getting at. Like, I know we keep harping back onto days gone by, but if you look at Joey and Mangs, infectious people, infectious characters, and then what they did is they brought in an infectious group, and they got certain characters, personalities within that group to create the culture.
Where's Paul Coots? Where's Coots when you need him?
Well, we've been harping on about this. We're 18 games in, up on about it for ages. We ain't got no leaders, and this group has no leaders. There is no leaders in this group.
I also was like,
now. This isn't something new that we've just stumbled across. We've known this for months on end.
Yeah, I can't describe it. Like, there's no infectious energy where, like, I would have, and I'll just talk about the squad rather than him, but I would have died for Joey Barton's team. You know, like I would have ran for a brick wall. I missed the days of Azza and Evans and then Coots having to grab them by their necks to bring them back in because you're celebrating too much at 2-2. Let's go and get a winner. Like I just like you look at people, you look at players. Sam Nicholson couldn't get a game in that year. The guy was a joke, and yet still came on and performed out of his skin in certain moments. We had Leon Clark. Talk about players like Brett Pittman who have won things. I know that, you know, Port Pele, whatever, it didn't work out, but it just we had Coots, we had Finley, we had players that like looked like they gave a shit. And the next time you come back out and play, I know we were in League Two, lads, as well, by the way. Let me just clarify that. But the next time you come out and play, you're not dropping those stinkers again. Because one thing I also thought as well, Lindsay will probably start on Saturday. After his performance on Tuesday night, he shouldn't be starting. He's got too comfortable with starting games of football because Ward's injury and Garrett's been off it, whatever. Under, you know, Joey, if you drop a stinker, you ain't playing the next game because you need to earn the shirt and know what it's like to actually go out there and perform. And I get it that Lindsay's, you know, he has had his good moments, but it's like he's got his core players and whatever. But it's like sometimes I don't know. Like if I don't see 5-6 changes on Saturday,
Thing is, though, Taylor even said that though himself, and funny enough, he was at Orient the other night, which I didn't realise until his interview today. He was there.
I'm only halfway through that interview before I came on. I was watching it as I was waiting on.
Yeah, he was there. He was there Tuesday in the stands. I don't know where.
Yeah, he said he felt a bit guilty, right, because he couldn't do much about it.
Yeah, but he was there. But he said that before, and obviously, you know, Horseman and that would know, like certain players, you know, apparently played well at Barnsley, but then they didn't get a chance on Tuesday, and I completely agree, you know, what both of you have said. But the thing is as well is that we've obviously harped on about the different, you know, different excuses and everything else that's been said. You know, we've chatted loads on style of play, but the thing is the results as well. And like you said, it's a job, isn't it? It's a job. It's a results business. And like you said, it's just so negative. But
it's not.
Negative.
It is a results business as well. You are right, but it's also not just that. It's also we also want to see that we might not be winning games, but there's a style of Crawley is what I'm thinking of. They might not be winning loads of games, but there's a style of play. They're scoring goals. There's a togetherness with the manager and the fans.
That's what I mean. Style of play. We said it.
Exactly. It's not just the results. It's let's show us something that actually is all right. Let me ask you this question, right? When you go on Saturday, will you be surprised if you don't hear "Goodnight, Irene" sang around the mem for the least 20 minutes for the first 20 minutes of the game? No, because that's what we're just expecting. This is our new norm. This is our new normal nowadays, which is dross, essentially. Crap. Yeah. And I like Matt Taylor. He's a very, very nice guy and a very well-raised guy. But even when he's giving it the pumpy big uns to the Blackthorn end, it looks forced and it looks like he doesn't really want to be. It looks like he doesn't even. It doesn't even look really like he wants to be here anymore because it is just crap. And it's okay to say something is crap if it's crap. And I am the positive guy. Like I had, you know, this guy when we had our sausage roll in the bar, and he said to me, "Oh, you're always so positive and stuff. How'd you do it?" My positive juices have run out now, lads, because it's like something needs to change, and we all probably know what that is. But it's
the concern is
they're leaving it though.
Say you change it.
Yeah, who comes in?
But all you're going to do is bring in another puppet that you're going to interfere with and mess with and start making football-related decisions that you've got no right to be doing. You've got to let your manager manage. Look, Matt Taylor has made errors, don't get me wrong, but I'm at the point now where I'm giving him a pass on some stuff because I don't know if he's allowed to do his job. I just don't know. He might well be able to, but there's too much smoke without fire, and I just feel like what they're going to do, bring in another puppet, they can do the same too. Like you've got to let.
So you don't believe what he said in that interview then?
Look, let's be honest.
About that he's not given that.
It's prime corporate manipulation. It like I said, Christmas is around the corner. Let's bring out a shirt to earn a few quid. That'll do it. Like they've played that card, and then I'll tell you what, we'll go on a fan channel to go and tell people exactly what they hear, and then they'll eat out the palm of our hands, and we'll be able to have a little pass on stuff. It's not like they're getting peppered left, right, and centre by asking hard-hitting questions, and I appreciate that. There's an opportunity there to have him and speak to him, and it's great. But let's not be fooled by the fact that everything that this bloke's saying is gospel. Why are we believing it? For what reason? What, just because he says so? He's backing up nothing. No one's asking why's Jack Hunt getting changed in the cupboard? Do you know what I mean? No one's asking that. You know what I mean? Like there's too much smoke without fire. Like at the end of the day, these fellas have come in, and what they've done is they've knocked up a stand. That's what they've done. They've made cuts. They've put a few quid into the squad, and it looks like it hasn't been spent that great, to be honest. They've moved stuff about. They've given people certain roles, and then the season's been what it's been. There's talk of interviewing managers while one's already in post. There's talk of interference. Like there's too much going on. Like I know, what was it? Like. Joey's contractually allowed to talk, I think, at the end of. And I'm not saying that everything Joey's going to say is gospel truth, but you might get a side of the fence of an inclination of what's actually going on, because he can actually have his 2 pence worth about what these lot are like now. And then Matt Taylor might do the same one day when he's out of a job. But like, why are we just deciding that these people are going to come on, say that they're going to do this, they're going to do that, their intentions are this, they can't wait for us to get to the championship? Fucking load of old waffle. You're just going to tell us what we want to hear. Like that's all it is.
Yeah,
They're not going to come. Yeah, they aren't going to come out and say. They are never going to come out and say, "Yeah, we're picking the team." Like,
they're never going to come out and say, "Do you know what? We're going to asset strip this till the absolute hill."
Yeah.
The administrators are going to come in and we're going to leave you high and dry. They wouldn't say that even if it was their intentions.
Yeah, that's why I said on Twitter, if what he's saying is true, which, let's be honest, like we need to take a pinch of salt with it, then he needs to back up what he said publicly. But
only way, like I said, the only way this football club gets anywhere close to a championship is if these people bankroll it, severely bankroll it. I'll be amazed if they do. And where's the Dutch stuff gone? That was a load of noise over that. That's gone quiet, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Never say never. Never say never on stuff, you know.
But there's a lot of negativity in this room, man.
That's what it is, though, isn't it? The whole. When you're hearing loads of stuff, and then when the results are poor on the pitch as well, and the football's poor, and the attendances are low, and the atmosphere is as dead as I've ever seen it. It wasn't even that. The atmosphere wasn't even that dead. You know, the season we were getting relegated to the conference.
I think what you've got the overriding feeling I find from it all is you've got nobody trusts nobody. This club is like I don't know how to describe it to pinpoint what it is, but nobody trusts nobody. And that you're built on sand, didn't you? You got no chance until until you get some form of structure and some form of trust and some form of identity that you can start moving towards something. Nobody trusts nobody.
Yeah. It's just mad, isn't it? But like you said, there's been so much to talk about. Obviously, everyone keep getting in your comments. Like I said, if you're just watching now and you want to watch the rest back and you want to leave your thoughts, then do so. Please hit the like button as well if you haven't already. There's been over 100 people in here live at one point, so please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Follow us all on the socials if you want to. Follow our obviously our podcast on the different socials as well. Use the Fan Hub code. But yeah, Cole's been waiting long enough, and we're gonna finally get on to Bolton. Obviously, there's been like you said, Cole. There's been a lot. Obviously, you're guessing you've heard a lot. First of all, obviously, welcome to the channel. I think it's the first time you've been on, but yeah, how are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm very well. Yeah, obviously, thanks very much for having me, gents. Obviously, good listening to. Well, say good. Give me a little bit, make me feel a little bit better given our current situation. What you lads have just been talking about. I was going to come on and say Merry Christmas to try and cheer you all up a little bit, but yeah. Listen, obviously, I'm very grateful to be asked to come on and obviously use your wonderful platform as a bit of a soundboard for our current frustrations. Which I'm sure you'll probably find quite amusing, since though we sit 7th or whatever we are, and obviously in that playoff mix. But yeah,
and it's obviously quite interesting because I think it was obviously just before the window ended. Obviously, we done that. I think it was Ben's. Was it? I don't even remember. Twitter space. You obviously came on there when me, Neil, Ben, Darryl, everyone else was on there. Obviously, we were talking a little bit about that. But yeah, for those Rose fans that have maybe just looked at your, league position and be like, wow, they're 7th in the league. They must be doing pretty well. Tell us about the whole thing, because it sounds like even though you're 7th, there's been a lot of really poor results in there and games where you're winning them, like the other night where you were losing, weren't you? You were losing as well, and obviously they got a man sent off. But so tell us about the season so far. Ever, obviously we talked to you a lot about Ever on I think it was the Twitter space we done. Tell us your season so far and thoughts on what's going on at Bolton Wanderers.
Yeah, so obviously we sit 7th, which for a start off, given the fact that what we're on 5th of December, simply isn't good enough. We've conceded 27 goals, scored 28. We're relying heavily on the quality of the players that we have at our disposal at the moment to get us through games. There isn't really a great deal of consistency. We've kind of turned the corner a little bit, I suppose, in recent weeks in terms of kind of form. Obviously, you look at the kind of, you might say the last 5 games as a bit of a yardstick where we've won 3 out of the last 5, losing 1 and drawing 1. But it's very much the manner of which we kind of lose games that's been really, really beginning to grind on a lot of Bolton fans with regards to Ian Everett, of course, because he's the guy that kind of sends the lads out. We look at our squad. We look at the depth when they are all fit. Granted, he's had a few injury issues, I must admit, but when you're loaning players out like Aaron Morley to Wickham, who currently sit first in the division, gives you a bit of an insight into the level of depth that we have at our disposal. And he just simply isn't getting the best out of the players. The only saving grace is that we are playing pretty poorly and we're still well in the mix. So the attitude for quite a lot of fans, I suppose, should and probably would be, when we do turn that corner and when we do start playing well, then we should be a force to be reckoned with. But yeah, 7th in December simply isn't good enough. And a lot of people, as David's alluded to, is obviously clearly a Bolton fan. He is, because he joins our podcast. Sorry, David. Yeah, and David's clearly frustrated and he wants Ian Everett out, and a lot of people do, because the expectation is considered maybe too high for him at the moment to manage. Yeah,
I mean, I want to quickly ask a question before I get Neil and Josh's thoughts, if they got any questions as well to ask. It could be about a certain player, who knows. But I want to ask your thoughts. I've watched highlights. Obviously, sometimes I do tune into your pod as well. Don't forget to follow him as well if you haven't already. YouTube, Twitter, the Fan Zone podcast. I was on there earlier as well. So yeah, go and check that out after if you want to. But I want to ask, do you reckon teams have sort of most caught onto the style you play? Because that's what I thought we did when we came to your place in Taylor's sort of his first month in charge, when I thought we were brilliant against you and I got the win. Do you think that's a certain thing, or other things?
To an extent, I mean, it's a 3-5-2, and that's what he's been using for a good amount of time. He tried to adapt a 3-4-3 at the start of the season with one up top and two in behind, and then he's reverted back to that 3-5-2 again. And now he's starting to play about a little bit with the fullbacks and making them inverted, I think the new phrase is. So there is a little bit of skepticism, I suppose, from Ian Everett's perspective in terms of whether teams have sussed us out. But I don't think it is really. I think it's just I was listening to you lads before and you were talking about leaders. We lack leaders. We lack leadership. We've got a lot of good players in the squad, but we lack leaders when the chips are down a little bit. It's kind of like grab them by the scruff of the neck and I don't know, I wanted somebody who were maybe close to retirement, possibly to come on for like 20 minutes and, get a grip of these good players and kind of drag them through games a little bit, some experience. So I personally think we like that in the middle of the park, and I think that's often our biggest downfall, if I'm honest, Charlie.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, Dave, putting in his comments there as well. I don't know who this comment's for. I don't know whether it's for both of us, or if it's a Rovers fan. But yeah, need to get behind the manager teams and see what happens in January. This is being discussed due to I'm guessing it's a Rovers fan then. Yeah. What it's it's one of those things at the moment. We've talked about obviously managers in 2 or 3 episodes who we want. Obviously, a lot of us said the scout, Schumacher and Lowe. But I'm to be honest with you, I'm not really sure at the moment. I'm sure off the top of your head, Neil, who do you want?
Like I said before, it's a void point for me. This because do you want to work for these people? Do you want to work for these people? Like I said, I don't trust no one at this football club at the minute, so it's hard to say because what are you going to do? Bring in another puppet to do what they're doing with Taylor now? It's just a vicious cycle. Unless you're going to let your managers manage, you're never going to get a true understanding of what anyone can do and what job they can do. So it's a void point for me at the minute until I've got some form of clarity that the bloke's being allowed to do the job he's meant to do.
From the outside looking in, Matt Taylor, he seems to talk a good game from what you see. Is that his biggest issue? Is he talks a good game and he doesn't produce results? I think well, results are everything, aren't they? Results are everything. But I think he's never at no point in the group that he inherited, which was I indicated from early doors, he was never going to have a shout with these lads. They were never going to buy into him because of the personality clash that was going to be there. Yeah. And then you come to the start of this season and he just can't get his stamp on any of these on these lads. And I don't know whether that's due to the job that he's not being allowed to do by his employers, the hire,
or the fact that because of his personality and his character, he's just so wishy-washy. And I just look at him and think whenever I've gone in a change room at half time or at full time, you know what to expect by the bloke that's in jacket, and you don't fear that bloke. You do not fear him. It's just the mundane, same old voice that's going to reiterate the same stuff.
Excuse me, ignorance, but did he replace Joey Barton? He did, didn't he?
Yeah. We had a little bit of an interim situation.
Yeah, so you've gone from one extreme to another there, haven't you, really, I guess, in terms of the manager.
And I called it early when he inherited Joey's group. I was like, he won't have a prayer with these. He just will not have a prayer with them. But then it was a matter of clean slate. We'll get to the summer. He worked with George Friend, who did all the recruitment.
Yeah.
Still hasn't managed to get his arms around this.
Yeah, it must be frustrating that, and obviously that league position that you find yourself in now is pretty shocking, really, isn't it? Because you look at it again from the outside looking in, with Burton especially picking up a result last night, and Shrewsbury appointing a bit of an experienced kind of manager at this level. You must be thinking to yourselves, and that's not kind of an ideal situation, is it? Really,
the biggest frustration is, like I've said before, you could tolerate it if you could see what we were trying to do and it wasn't coming off. But we don't know anything. You can't see what we're trying to be. Nobody whether you're a Rovers fan or someone who's come up against Rovers, can look at that side over 90 minutes if you're a visiting fan or whatever, and go, that's what I can see what they're trying to be. I can see what they're trying to do. There's nothing there.
It's a funny one because, like, you'd look at it and you'd think, like, look, you use Aaron Morley as an example, yeah. So we loaned him to Wickham. In my mind, rightly or wrongly, in my mind, I see Wickham and Bristol Rovers on a kind of a similar level. I don't know whether that's fair to say or not.
I get where you're coming from, but their policies and their infrastructure and their know-how and their desire to be what they are far more superior to what we are.
Yeah, but my point was going to be is, from a recruitment perspective, from a Bristol Rovers point of view, I'm guessing you're looking at it thinking, why have they got a player like Aaron? Why can't we attract a player like that?
They've just got a better culture that's been built up from the Ainsworth years. They've got solid foundations of knowing exactly what they are culture-wise. We ain't got that. We ain't got that.
Yeah.
He was the kind of player that transform your stylistic, the way you go about things and what you're trying to achieve, really.
But regardless of what their league position is at the minute, Wickham, even if they were mid-table, I still think Wickham are an easier sell than Bristol Rovers at the minute, due to the fact that they've got a clear understanding and culture of what they are, so they can go and get a certain profile of player to fit into, this is what we are, this is what we've got, these are your facilities, these are your places, and you're going to work damn hard to go and, forge your career out of what you've got with us. Whereas I don't think we've got any of that as far as an infrastructure. It's like, he looks like a good profile of player, we'll try and get him. But there's no real concept or understanding of how you fit that into anything.
Got it.
I'm pretty sure as well they've just got a new, like, multi-million pound owner or someone as well. I think they've recently just had a takeover.
Yeah,
What Wickham won't do is all of a sudden go Hollywood. They know what they're built on. They know what their foundation is. They know what their culture is, and they'll continue to tick over, because what you do is you get hard-working, hungry individuals through the building and build them up.
Yeah. I was also going to talk on your point. Probably said, you obviously said about league position. I think the most worrying thing for me, and I didn't say this earlier, obviously after Tuesday we're now 3 points above the relegation zone. But the other thing that worries me is that we, in the year that just over a year now that Matt Taylor's been here, we've, you can't look at it and go, oh yeah, we can go on a run of like 3 wins or 4 wins. Like, we haven't done that. So that's the other thing that worries me, to be honest, is that we.
I think the Rovers thing is multi-layered. Whereas I think when you talk about Bolton, like from the outside looking in, and especially when I went to that playoff final, Everett's the problem. He's the common denominator. He's clearly the issue.
The problem is, I think the club's. He's still learning his trade, you see, as a manager. He inherited us as a club when we're on our arse, because ultimately we're in League Two. We'd obviously gone through a lot of financial problems, and he had a clean slate. And he's been learning ever since. So he's 5 years in position. He's literally just had his 250th game. And he's got a win percentage of around 50%, I think, which is obviously pretty good. But the things he says and the things he does, squaring up to players on the pitch, the remarks, the remarks he makes, it's a pressure that's too much for him as a learning manager, and I think that's where we're at the moment with it all. To be honest, the job's too big for him, basically.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, go for it, Josh.
And this is just me playing devil's advocate here. Is there an element, an undertone of ungratefulness from Bolton fans, because he's 5 years in position, picked you up in League Two when you were on your ass? All right, you bottled it last season or whatever. He does score up to players, which from the outside looking in, hilarious. From actually being in the club, I can imagine that's a real annoyance. But maybe that comes from passion for wanting to do well for the club,
possibly.
etc. We look at it now with with the Mark Robbins situation with Coventry, is there an element of, I'm not saying that you are ungrateful, I'm just saying, is there an element of that at all? Because it's like you want more, but you need to appreciate what you've had, or is he genuinely just hit his ceiling with you, and you know that he can't take you to that next step?
Well, it's a really good question. So after the Huddersfield game, again, we've had a couple of, and this is part of the main problem, really. We've had a couple of really hideous results this season. We lost 4-0 at home to Huddersfield, which is just absolutely embarrassing. After that game, he stood on the touchline after the game and looked lost during the game as well. And after it, more importantly, he was speaking to BBC and he turned around and said, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. He had literally said that on the radio. So that's when I lost. That's when I lost it with him personally, because I was like, if I'm a player sat in that dressing room and that's my leader saying he doesn't know what to do, then it's no good. I appreciate what you're saying. I think it is just a case of he's hit his ceiling with us, in fairness. And I think the problem he's got now is he's every little thing or every slight issue that there is, he's jumped on straight away.
Yeah.
Any opportunity. Half time, they did 1-0 down. The booze, horrendous as you can imagine. But yeah, anything he can possibly say, he gets jumped on. And I think he's also in the dangerous kind of realms of tarnishing what he's done already as good work, the good work that he's done, and the lasting memory will be of bad.
Fine. That Batman quote of if you know, live long enough to watch yourself become the villain. If you know.
Yeah, that's where he's at the moment. Yeah, his arrogance, and I kind of like it in a way, really. And this is one of the things I've always liked about him. He's got that element of arrogance about him. He clearly sees he can turn it round. He clearly feels he can turn it round.
But any of them players with him though, because I looked at when I was at Wembley and I looked at that, I just thought this is a sackable performance. You can't do this in a playoff final where you get no tune out. Like, you can have a stinkings first half and freeze, but to get no response out of any of it for the whole of 90 minutes in the playoff final, when you're Bolton Wanderers in League One, I thought that's just, he's got to go. He can't stay. Like,
a lot of people did call for his head after that playoff final, Neil. Yeah, they did. A lot of people called.
It was awful. It was horrendous.
I think that's one of the worst playoff performances I've ever seen, especially at Wembley.
Yeah,
it looked like you turned up on the wrong day. Like, it honestly looked like someone needed to say to the players, "You do know this is a playoff final, right?" Like, it was mad. I felt so bad for you being there, mate.
You have to give a lot of credit to Des Buckingham, though. He did out tactic Ian Evatt on the day, which again is a concern, and he's proved.
I'll go back to it. Like, is that acceptable? Bolton Wanderers at Wembley against Oxford, who have hit a decent little bit of form, shouldn't be the way. Like, to not beat them, because you never had a good 10 minutes in that. You didn't even have a spell.
Yeah, we beat them 5-0 a few weeks before as well.
Yeah.
It was mad. Yeah, it's crazy.
What they did is they targeted Paris Magoma early doors and cutted him and put an injured him.
Player, Mike.
Yeah,
made his debut yesterday for Brentford, didn't he?
He didn't prem, he did.
Yeah.
But your man who's gone to Pompey just terrorised them, didn't he? Absolutely terrorised them.
Yes, the winger.
Murphy.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I think it was just one of them days. Listen, we've been to playoff finals before. We've won them. We've been to playoff finals before. We've lost them. Championship ones that obviously mean more financially. And yeah, it was just one of them days. Unfortunately,
it wouldn't have them days in League One.
Wasn't good enough. Not at League One level, no, Neil. And the playoff finals I'm talking about, like I said, Championship playoff finals, which is obviously a different kettle of fish.
Bolton in League One is a conversation that there should be no maybes or on the fringes of anything.
Absolutely correct. And again, this is frustrating because people from the outside see it, and our current leadership or ownership group don't, for whatever reason, which is why people are really angry at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, go on.
I do like. I know there's a lot of talk of like what we do with Rovers with managers, and people are quick to shout change, and if someone goes out, who goes. Again, from the outside looking in, I do believe that if you've got a new face and a different man who's done it, who's got a little bit under his belt, you'll be in and around where you need to be. To be honest, I think you'll do what you do this season in spite of Evatt, rather than actually anything else.
I think the league isn't as good as what everybody thought it was going to be for a start off. So I think if he does somehow manage to turn it around, have a good December, and then, start the new year well, then because the league isn't as good as people thought it were going to be, he might get lucky, but we'll have to wait and see.
I think bar Wickham though, I think come May, money will talk.
Well, yeah, and they're on about backing him again and investing again in January.
That's why we're pushing piss uphill in this league, Bristol Rovers. Like, we've not got a prayer at the minute. Like, we have not got a prayer of getting close to anything with the division being what the division is.
Well, yeah, we can't even have shots on target in 2 games in a row.
I think he spent about $2.5 million in summer. I think it were.
And I don't think, and I think, with all due respect, that's not big money in this league now. Plus, I don't think we spent it that great either. I don't think it's been spent that great.
No, it was. We were the second biggest. We were the second biggest earners in the summer. Spenders in the summer, should I say? But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's not a great deal of money at all.
I don't think another League One club plays $700,000 for Promise on a cherry. I just don't think they do. It's not Promise's fault. That's not Promise's fault. I just don't think anyone pays that money for him. I think you can go and get a more established centre forward that will score you goals immediately in their mid-20s for that money.
Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, he's 24 himself, isn't he? But yeah, that's the thing. It's not his fault as well. But so it's just Rovers, isn't it? You break your transfer record and you spend it on him, and like you said, it's not even his fault either. But one question before we get on to teams and predictions: what's been your thoughts on Aaron Collins this season? Because league form, he's actually only got 1 more goal than Promise. He's got 3 league goals, but I think overall it's 7 in all comps?
Yeah, 7 in all comps. He's scored a couple of goals in that stupid trophy.
Didn't he just win Player of the Month as well?
Yeah, he did. He should have said it all, didn't it? Yeah. He's flattered to deceive to an extent. He scored, obviously, like you say, he scored a few goals. The majority of them have come in the cup. I think his biggest problem so far this season is a little bit of an adjustment to the formations that Everett is trying to install. He's trying to tweak it a little bit with these attackers, be it, like I said earlier, that 3-5-2 or that 3-4-3, and where he fits in that with Dion Charles, Victor Adebayo, John McAtee, and obviously Aaron Collins himself. I think that's his biggest problem. And I think he's trying to learn a little bit on the job to an extent. Listen, he's a talented lad. We're a little bit concerned that he's getting kind of coached out of his Bristol Rovers talents, i.e. when he first joined us, he's 20 yards from goal, he'd have a pop. Whereas now, he's 20 yards from goal, he's looking for the wide men, he's looking for the midfield runners, he's looking for Dion Charles, he's a bit like, now what am I doing here type of thing. Where when he came from you lot, he was like, yeah, fantastic. I'm in a promising position, wallop, 1-0 or whatever it might have been.
Because his mentality had to be that for us.
Well, right. Exactly. Otherwise, we weren't scoring.
So he's having to learn a little bit. Listen, he scored some good goals. He scored away at the Emirates, which was nice for him, I'm sure. Took that goal pretty well, to be fair to the lad. That was a funny one, that Arsenal trip, I tell you. It was very much a mixed bag of fans from an age group perspective. Obviously, we took, I think, like 5,000 down there or whatever it were. We obviously got battered. But when we scored, there was like the under-23s going mad. Like, that's the best thing they've ever seen. And like my generation, the 30-plussers are like, we're getting battered here. Like, it's just a consolation. Do you get what I mean? That was a weird game, that. I walked out of that stadium, I was so frustrated and pissed off me because I was like, we didn't stand a chance against these lot. They just toyed with us like putty. And like, I used to go to the Highbury and the Emirates and obviously give them a game. And it's like, oh, it was so frustrating. But like, some of the Bolton fans were like, oh, that was brilliant and all that type of thing. I was like, oh my God, get me home type of thing. But yeah, listen, he's done all right. He's done all right. And he will have a good season. I'm sure he'll contribute and he'll probably get around the 10 goals mark, no doubt, and chip in with his assists. But he's finding it tough with the amount of competition as well and what's being expected of him from a tactical standpoint. Yeah.
Well, all I can say is if he needs it, if he needs a goal or whatever, don't worry because he's playing against us Saturday. So
I think he'll probably start on the bench. To be fair, lads, on Saturday, I wouldn't be surprised if he started on the bench.
That's what I mean. Your squad's that mad. You could say like you could have John McAtee and Collins on the bench and just start Adebayo and Dion Charles. It's mad, isn't it?
Forgetting that Carlos Mendes Gomez is due back from 9 months out as well, and he's an attacker that
he's a quality player. Yeah, him as well. It's crazy. But yeah, let's get into our lineups. We'll start with you first, Cole. Actually, what starting 11 would you play on Saturday?
We'll start with our number one, Nathan Baxter, no doubt. The full backs, bit of a contentious one, this actually, because we've signed a lad from Bochum in the Bundesliga. He came through at Arsenal. Osei Tutu, who's been injured and who looks apart, to be honest. You can tell he's a level above. But I don't think we'll start with him, despite a lot of Bolton fans are probably going for wanting to start him. So it'll be Josh Deckerus Cogley at right wing back. Centre half will be obviously Rico Santos as the middle one. To the right, it will be Gethin Jones. To the left, it will be George Johnson. And the left wing back will be Sabichon, the lad we signed for.
The Hungarian one.
Just shy of $1 million, in summer, Hungarian wing back. Very talented lad. George Thomason's back from suspension, so he'll probably start in midfield alongside either Jay Matete or Josh Sheehan. Josh Sheehan's got a bit of a niggle, I think. But any two of them three are obviously good or should be good enough in midfield, you'd have thought. And then obviously you've got, I would suspect, he'll probably go with the two, Vic and Dion, and possibly McAtee just behind. I think Aaron Collins will start on the bench personally.
Interesting.
Because he had a poor game the other day, and McAtee did well, ran his stones off and scored. Dion looked like Dion when he came off the bench, and Vic got a goal as well, despite he had a bit of a poor performance, but he managed to get a goal, so it'd be a bit harsh if they dropped him, type of thing.
Yeah, I'm just praying and hoping that Ricardo Santos has the same game he did when we played you away, because he's
never played well against us.
Well, they stripped him of his captaincy earlier on this season, and it's actually helped him quite significantly, actually.
That's interesting.
The pressure, I think, was getting a bit too much for him as well. So they stripped it and gave it to young George Thomason, the centre midfielder, who took to it like a duck to water. Rico was playing very well at the moment.
So it's a very strong team. We'll get on to Josh's. Obviously, you put yours over on Twitter. Obviously, some people might have seen, but for those that haven't, what would be your starting 11? And before you do go, do you think, obviously, give us the starting 11, but do you think Taylor might change formation? Or do you think he'll still stick with this 4? I
think he'll stick to the 4.
Because I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. After Tuesday's game, anything.
I wouldn't be surprised. Sorry. Tire gas. My son just obviously wakes up at like 4 a.m. So let me just say, right? Okay, 2 things. My lineup that I'm going to give you now is what I would do. And then I will tell you what I actually think will happen, because there's no way what I want is going to happen. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, just choose yours, innit? Obviously, I know you've got.
All right, well, I'll give you mine then. This is what I would be doing. I would be making an abundance of changes, because Tuesday night was absolutely woeful, and I don't think half of them deserve to start, because I don't know what that says to the. I don't know what that says to the kind of winning ethos around the club. You can play shit and then start again because, I don't know. So this is what I would be doing. I'd go Matt Hall in goal. I'm joking. I'd be going Josh Griffiths in goal, obviously. I'd be playing Joel Senior right back because
he's an actual right back.
He's an actual right back. Taylor Moore, I don't think he's done as bad as everyone has said, but he has been quite bad in the last couple of games, just to clarify. Yeah. And Joel Senior has looked good since coming back, and he's probably chomping at the bit to wanna play. So we're going Joel Senior. I'd be going Connor and Willow in the middle, because you can't really change those two because they've been alongside Josh Griffiths outstanding. So they start. Forbes did really, really well when he came on the other day. And I thought about maybe him starting, but I'm still going to go with Mola. I'm still going to stick with Mola, because I think Mola actually has had enough good performances in the bag to warrant a back-to-back start after a poor performance, genuinely.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it gets a bit contentious, lads. I'd be going Conte back in because we look abysmal without him, and he is probably one of our most important players.
Yeah.
I would then be playing, and I'm going to wait for blooming Neil to shake his head here, but let's have it. I'd be playing Maka alongside Conte. I know he's been flourishing in the number 10 role, but I just think Lindsay and Ward didn't do anything on Tuesday night to warrant starting again, and Garrett's been off it. So I'd be playing Maka in there because he's looked good. I would play him. If it were me, I would play Conte and Holding, then 2 in the middle above him. So maybe would be slightly higher up anyway.
Yeah.
On the right, you go Shaq Ford because he is a game-changing player. Hutchinson on the left, and then I would be playing.
And Neil's favourite player in the 10.
I would be slotting Luke Thomas in the 10. Now, let me just clarify. I am not a Luke Thomas fanboy. I just want to see change. And
First it's a lie.
No, Satiriu
He should be starting though.
This is what I mean. Satiriu did not do well enough to play. And if I were still playing Lindsay or Ward, I obviously put Maka in the 10. But I need to see change because we're not creating chances. We haven't had a shot on target, so why not just change it? Just change it? He's still got the best creative chances, creative statistics of anyone in the squad, and he hasn't played for the last 7 games in the league, and he was playing at right wing back. You'd be a fool to not include him in the squad at least. But for me, I'd just pop him in a 10 and just see some change. Just give someone else a go and see what they can do. And then I would be playing Gatlin O'Donkor up top because Chris Martin is the maroon whatever I don't even know who sings it, script song, the man who can't be moved. He doesn't move. So I'd be playing Gatlin O'Donkor up top. Half of that will not happen, by the way. But that is what I would be doing just because I want to see some change, and half the players can't deserve to start again after Tuesday night.
Just a
Thank
question.
you very much. That's me done.
On your right back, you mentioned. I think that's a wise move, playing a recognised full back if that's what he is, your right back, because I think we are pretty strong on that left side. I think I mentioned Sabi Shon, the Hungarian lad, a second ago. A lot goes through him, so I think if you can play a recognised right back in that position, then I would do. Yeah, look,
Taylor Moore is quality, and I actually think that he has brought a lot more into that back line than we think. Like mentality, aggression, quality, pace, power. But since Connor Taylor came back in the centre back role, because he's been he was out with an injury at the start of the season, he's been so good that it's forced more out wide. He has been caught out a few times on the one-on-one defending. So yeah, I think Joel Senior, he's a recognised right back. He's also like, I kind of remember what Neil said a couple I don't know, months ago. I think we spoke about Maka and Josh Grant and talking about bad injuries and how you never quite go in for the challenge the same again because you're always worried in your head, well, what if I. And Joel Senior kind of has come back after 2 or 3 months out and just flown into challenges. So he looks raring to go. So yeah, I'd be starting him.
That Satiriu lad, is that the lad who you signed from Leighton Orient? Is it? Has he not been playing?
He's flattered to deceive, to be honest. I mean,
right.
he's never been a goal scorer. Let's be honest. If people thought you were bringing him in to get your 20 goals, he was never going to be that guy. But he's a busy fool for me. Runs around a lot, high energy, but nothing really comes of it at the minute. There's a lot of coaching to be done on that lad. I think a lot of
Did you
coaching.
spend
He had 4 touches on Tuesday night, Cole.
Right. Okay. I was speaking about that Soteria that you signed from Leighton Orient.
Oh yeah, Soteria. Yeah. I actually, before the apologies, by the way, my phone just died, so I had to try shambles.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go as well now and come back in.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, I was talking to the Orient Outlook podcast before the game, and he was just saying, oh, how's Shaq and Soteria done? And yeah, he said to me, Soteria's best position was centre forward, but we've played him in centre forward in the 10, and he's just been really lightweight. And like Neil said, he sort of runs around but doesn't really do anything.
1 goal and 1 assist in 14 games. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that about right?
And his 1 goal was from an absolute howler from the Barnsley keeper, the on loan Chelsea kiddie. So yeah, he struggled a lot.
He looks like one of them. He looks like one of them lads who he'll look good in a good side, but he'll never grip a game by himself. You know, he just looks like one of them. There's a lot of coaching to be done with that.
Did you spend what's considered a lot of money on him, Neil?
Probably not for the length of deal, to be honest.
Yeah,
but at the minute,
compensation, wasn't it?
I wouldn't say we're getting a return on him.
Compensation.
There's a lot of work to be done.
£1 a day.
yeah. I'm not actually sure how much it was in the
I
end.
think it's on a 4-year deal.
Yeah. Literally all the players all of them are like 3 years plus a year extra. So it's been pretty mad, to be honest.
That's quite unusual at this level to offer such we don't tend to offer them length of contracts, 3 years max.
We've gone down a different policy this year though with our head of recruitment and the way we're operating and what we're bringing in and the way we've done. But like I said, if it don't work, you've got a lot of players on long deals that ain't doing it for you. So it's
gamble, very much so, big gamble. And they're not going to leave if they're on decent money, if they're on good contracts.
No, agent are going to tell them to sit there as long as they can.
Interesting.
Yeah, 100%. What's your starting 11, Neil? Have you already said it?
No, I ain't done it.
What's yours?
Griffin goal, Senior right back, Mola left back, Willow and Connor Taylor at centre half. I'd have 2 screening in the middle of Conter and Garrett. Hutchinson one side, Ford the other, Macca in the hole off of a donker.
That's pretty. I
still like that team. I do still like that team. I
still don't think that gets us a result.
No, it won't get us a result. But I've got no quarrels with that team whatsoever. And I think Garrett needs to show us something. He has to. So, what better time than Bolton at home?
Yeah.
Charity Wanderers, as we're known within our own fan base. Charity Wanderers, so you never know.
Yeah. He actually come on the other night. He literally, I think the last game before he played was probably the game at Swindon, the 4-0 battering against bottom of the EFL Swindon in the EFL trophy, which for some stupid reason I went to, but there we go. My team would, Griffin goal, Senior and Mola at fullback, Wilson Taylor. Midfield 2 of... so annoying. I'd probably just go with Neil, because Lindsay's a weird player. Like he seems like a bit of a headless chicken. He doesn't seem to just stay in like one. He just seems to be everywhere and not like where he needs to be, like especially after Tuesday. But yeah, give Garrett a chance. Why not? He's probably going to go back to Blackburn anyway in January because he's literally not played many games at all. But yeah, I'd go Garrett and Conte. I'd go Shaq on the right, Hutch left, Macca 10 and O'Donker up top. I would say Luke Thomas, but whatever's going on there, as we know, is a madness. But yeah, I would definitely have him on the bench though. Bring him on, 100%. But yeah, something needs to, to be create the most chances for us and not played at all since September is mad. So
you need a reaction after that the other day against Orient.
And
you can't. That can't be acceptable. That.
Nah, it was honestly as well. Obviously, you watched a little bit before. It was, I mean, I don't know if you heard the bit where I said Orient had 38 touches in our penalty box and we had 2 in theirs.
Trying to lie.
Yeah, it was even more worse than you would imagine it would be. But yeah, time for score predictions. It's weird as well. I don't know. I've logged back on, but I actually can't see the old comments, or can I? I don't think I can. But yeah, anyway, we'll go with score predictions. I'm sure they'll come up later on. Cole, we'll go with you first. Are you confident you beat a team on such bad run of form and no shots on target in our last 2?
I was hoping you're going to leave me to last, lads, to be honest. Bloody hell. Listen, we have to win. Let's be honest. Let's be truthful. We've got Wigan next weekend, which is obviously a massive game for them. And after that, we've got Wickham coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. So we need to be going into that game on a good run. I do think winning late the other day will obviously help them. And I think with your poor form, you can't help but think we'll get something. I think it'll be tighter than what most people think. I think I'm going to go for a 2-1 to us, but a late goal. I think you'll see a reaction. I think having your gaffer back in the dugout will galvanise them a little bit. Well, I'm saying that. I mean, I don't know a great deal about kind of how they've been playing for him in general, but when someone's going through something like that, the human instinct in them lads will galvanise them a little bit, but hopefully our quality will show through a little bit more. I'll be in well. I'll go 2-1.
2-1. What about goal scorers?
Dion Charles and Aaron Collins for the winner off the bench. Because I think he'll start on the bench, and I think he'll come on. Sorry.
I can't.
I don't mean to upset you by that, and I'm sorry, Gas heads who are watching. I do apologise.
Yeah, no, it's written. It's written, isn't it? It's written. He scored last season, and it's written
really well last season, actually. To be fair,
yeah,
really well.
Dion Charles has always been an absolute nightmare. I remember him in his Accrington days. He was an absolute pain.
He started on the bench the other night, and he came on like a man possessed and ended up bagging within about 5 minutes. So I think he'll be let off the leash on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. Well, everyone as well, getting all your score predictions. We've already had a few, but there's over 70 of you watching, so please do leave all your predictions right now in the live chat. They've come through now, so yeah, send in all your predictions, or don't forget to leave them after. Obviously for the giveaway, I'm pretty sure you'll see at the bottom as well. The going along, I'm pretty sure it stayed the same because I don't think no one predicted Orient win the other night, so I think it stayed the same. So get in all your predictions right now, or leave them in the comments.
That doesn't really instill much confidence, that Charlie, because all your lads are saying that they're gonna lose you boys. So with the fact that you're saying that none of them predicted an Orient win, that might indicate that they're going to get this wrong as well, and therefore mean that you win. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. So yeah, Cole's gone 2-1. We'll go with, who do we go for next? Do we go Josh first or Neil first? I'll go Josh first.
Yeah, I think I can't hear anybody talking. By the way, it's all just going. It's all robotic. So if you can hear me, I'm going to go 3-1 Bolton. The one from us is a push. We are losing this game 3-1. I think who's going to score for us is going to be. Honestly, we're terrible, so I have no idea. We'll go Shaq Ford for us, and then I'll go McAtee, Dion Charles, and Aaron Collins for them. And I always give you an extra prediction. I think Collins will celebrate, not just, I think he'll celebrate when he scores. There we go.
I'm surprised. It doesn't come across as that type of lad, to be fair. I think he's quite respectful. I'm surprised you're saying that, Josh, in fairness, mate.
Well, from
Yeah, I heard someone say,
you've moved club, you've got a new fan base now. Go divvy for all I care. Do you know what I mean? I think you should. I think you should.
Listen, I do.
I'm just saying, I think he will celebrate. That's all. I'm just giving you that as an extra because I know he's an ex-player.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, let's quickly get to some predictions, actually. Harry Jenkins has gone 2-0. Chris Collier, 3-0 Bolton. Ben Darrell, Jenny being serious, 5-0 Bolton. Matt's 3-1 Bolton. Jamie Stockley, 3-0 Bolton. Tom Butler, 2-0 Bolton. Alicia B, 3-0 Bolton. Ronnie Martin, God, was that a win I just seen? It was. 2-1 Rovers. Let's pray and hope, shall we? 3-1 Bolton, says Forward on Blue. Chris Collier, 3-0. Gruzy, 2-0 Bolton. Weather's going to be so bad. So a draw. Interesting. Well, usually when the weather's bad, Rovers play even worse. Thinking of the Fleetwood game last season we had at home. God. Shambles. Chances will be 2-0 down with an awful first half. Lots of Rovers fans give him stick towards the end of his career. Rovers career. Wouldn't blame him for celebrating.
Question for you lads and your chat as well. Sorry, Neil, before you give your prediction, mate. What would I've seen quite a few big scorelines there, like your 3-0s and your 5-0s and whatnot. What would it take for him to get booted after the game? What kind of result would it take for that to happen? Because I feel like that's what you want from the outside looking in.
I don't think they push him, to be honest, this lot. I don't think they do push him.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
I don't think it makes sense to, unless I know it's a dirty game, but unless you've got someone lined up to come in afterwards.
Well, you'd hope that all leadership groups and ownership groups would have a contingency plan for.
You'd like to think so, but we never had one before Taylor come in.
Yeah, it took us 6 weeks to get Taylor in.
I asked Charlie, sorry you dropped off. I asked the lads and I asked your chat as well. Because I saw some quite big score lines. I was like, what result would it take for him to get the boot? What kind of score line would it be? That's what I asked before you dropped off.
To be honest with you, I thought, to be honest, if they had any stuff about them, I thought it would have been the other night after how bad it was. We mentioned. Yeah. By the way, that the reason why I dropped out, I went to check the private chat because Josh's connection is really bad. Is really bad. So when earlier on he was saying to me I sound like a robot, it's actually him sounding like a robot. So it's not my connection for once. So I don't know whether he'll come back in, but he's already given us a score prediction and lineup anyway. So if he doesn't come back, make sure you follow him, subscribe to his channel, and follow his TikTok as well if you haven't already. But yeah, I don't know what. I really don't know. It depends how bad it is.
It'd have to be heavy, I think. Real heavy.
It
6s and 7s, I think.
What? Not even 4 or 5.
I just don't think he's their puppet, isn't he? At the minute, I don't trust anything in this football club. I don't trust any of it.
Yeah,
I think he's their puppet at the minute. Do you know what I mean? Until they can find another one, they're not going to budge.
Yeah.
And he's not going to quit. He's going to want his money. Pay me up if you want me gone.
Yeah. I think it depends on how many fans leave and how toxic it also gets. Because if it gets like, I don't know, it's like 3 or 4-0 at half time, for instance, and
you probably won't have 6,000 there Saturday.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't see us bringing a massive contingent either, just because of our current situation. So you might not have a massive gate on at the men.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm not looking forward to it. Barry Greenwood says 1-0 Gas own goal. Imagine
Santos
that.
Own goal.
Santa or Collins own goal.
Yeah.
Ben, now Ben, you changed. I swear you said 5, Ben. To be fair, Matt said off fan, but to be fair, I said earlier on, I think I think after Tuesday, I don't know why people would be swayed by just one game, but it does happen a lot. But I think a lot of now would have would say, I'd probably say it's probably 70-30. I'll have to do I don't know how to do a poll on it. I'll have to do it on Twitter or on our Instagram page or whatever, but I could do a poll and see. But I would probably say it's 70-75 to Taylor out. I don't know, but we'll see. Mark Robbins, I don't think he's coming down to League One. Not a chance. Well, maybe, but who knows?
A lot of our fans are calling for him, actually, not long back.
Yeah.
He's a Manchester lad, isn't he, as well, so he's quite close.
Yeah. But Ben says 4-0 to get the boot. Yeah, I think 4-0. Yeah, like I said, I think it just depends on how many fans walk out and all that. But yeah, there won't be a lot there anyway, I don't think. Tom Butler says 5 or 6-0. Gordo reckons Mark Robbins will go Reading. Yeah, because that's who I wanted before. I wanted the Reading manager, but he was obviously never going to come to Rovers. I really like that. I forgot his name now.
Ruben Sellers.
Yeah, that's the one. Sellers. I really like Sellers for what he's done at Wigan. Like the football on a shoestring and the shambles going on they've got there. It's crazy. Tom Butler said agree 70-30 against Matt Taylor. Gordo 2-0. Neil, what's your prediction and goal scorers for Bolton?
Yeah, I'll go pretty. I'll go reserved. As reserved as I think I can be for this. I think Bolton will win comfortably, and I think they'll probably cruise through it in sort of second, third gear. But 2-0. Is Chris Farino getting games for you at the minute, Cole?
No, he's not. He's pulled his hamstring.
Oh, was he out? Because he's lethal against us from set pieces. So
yeah, no, I think he'd been brought in as a bit of cover for Rico in case Rico needs kind of resting or whatnot.
I really liked him at Wickham. Just the job that he did at Wickham, like he was an old school kick it, edit centre half. He was good in both boxes. I just thought he was good at what he did for League One, to be honest. So
I wasn't his biggest fan from what I've seen of him, but I know obviously Wickham fans.
It's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? Bolton though, you can have loads of the ball, expect to play out.
Yeah, he were a bit nervous. Yeah, I'll be honest with you.
But he might just been there, go channels, recovery runs, edit and kick it as far as you can. Perfect.
Yeah. But he might grow, mate. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see.
I go 2-0. So I say Sheehan and Azza. And if we're going to lose, if we are going to get beat, I hope Azza does score. Like I said, I think he's a gun. Considering what did he go for? 750 grand. It's an absolute snip. It's an absolute pinch. We've paid 700 grand for Promise on a cherry.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it is mad. Yeah, Henry saying the club should slash ticket price. To be fair, no one. Even if you said to someone on Saturday, even if you went outside the Mem gates at 5 to 3 and said to someone, "Oh, fancy coming to watch Rovers," they wouldn't say yeah. It'd be why. Even this thing is funny. Was it yesterday evening or the evening before they put out it was the Tuesday actually. The Tuesday afternoon they put out half season tickets. Like anyone's gonna buy a half season ticket. Seriously. Oh my I'd love to know that how many people are actually gonna buy one of those though. Problem with Rovers is that we're divided as a fan base. I don't understand why people want him at the club. If this was Joey, it would be a different story. Says ex Finley. Collins will come on and score a worldie. It's just written in the script. How many you reckon will go Birmingham? I'm not sure, but Birmingham, I think that's when it could. That's when it could get really. That's only next week as well. That's only a week away, and I'm my days. I'm not. They haven't even the last 5 games. I think they've only won one, maybe two out of the last 5. Drew to Mansfield, drew to Northampton. Lost to Shrewsbury, knowing us, we'll sit back and they'll just absolutely cook us.
I'll tell you now, I'll go to Birmingham, but it's to see Birmingham, just to see what Birmingham are like. Like that's the only reason I'll go to Birmingham. Like I know what we are. Don't need to go to see what we're about.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I'll give my prediction. I'm gonna if any of you watched me on the Fan Zone earlier on their preview, I'm going to give the exact same scoreline. I'm going to go Rovers 0, Bolton 3. That is my. But I'm pretty sure I predicted that last season as well when Bolton came to visit us as well. And I think, what was it, 2-0 on it? So
I went last season. What was it? Is it 2-0? Yeah.
Yes, 2-0. I think it was who was it? I think it was Cameron Jerome outpaced Colin Taylor, and he gave away a penalty, and then
Morley scored a penalty, didn't he?
Yeah,
before
Morley
that,
scored the pen,
Was it the season before last when it was 3 and that Ndulu scored that absolute?
Yeah.
If he's scoring against you, then you know you've got problems. Shine a light.
Yeah, that was the last game of the season, wasn't it?
That was some finish though. I looked at that finish.
3-2.
Oh, that's
3-2. 3-2.
3-0. Oh, no,
yeah.
it's 3-0. I just remember that Ndulu goal, thinking, Christ, that's a hell of a finish.
Yeah. Like you said,
he's a weird player.
When Ndulu scores, then you know it's something mad. But yeah, we're gonna end it here. It's been a lot longer than obviously we usually plan, but I hope everyone has enjoyed it. There's been loads of you watching, so before you leave, don't forget to hit the like. It always helps out. Subscribe if you're new. Go and follow the Fan Zone pods. Subscribe to them as well. Cole, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Obviously, good luck after Saturday. I mean, you don't even need any luck. Like it should be comfortable. Like, you know, when even Josh is saying 3-1 Bolton, then you know something's up.
He's in your glass half full kind of guy, is he?
Yeah, he's me from last season.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I've noticed you plummeted with your optimism, Charlie. I've noticed that this season.
We do hope we even have a glass at this point.
Yeah. It's like a glass at this point. Yeah, 100%. But
likewise. Best of luck as well as for the season. Obviously, I hope you manage to kind of have a decent, as best you can anyway, season and stay away from that bloody relegation zone.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. Are you making the trip down Saturday?
No, I've got my little boy. My missus Christmas shopping, so I've got to look after my little lad, and can't make the trip. Unfortunately-ish. I went to your ground last season. I enjoyed it actually, but that open away I wouldn't be very
open terrace.
Yeah, very, very attractive given the weather that we're dealing with at the moment.
Yeah. To be fair, it's terrible.
But we had behind the goal in your new stand last season. There were a few of us in that.
The south stand. But because the weather is going to be a shambles in it probably. Especially down here anyway, absolutely torrential. But like I said, thanks to everyone, thanks to Cole, thanks to Neil as always, obviously Josh. His connection was pretty bad tonight, so hopefully, I think it's because he usually uses his laptop. He was on his phone tonight. He tried to do what I do on his phone, and maybe it'd be better, but it's what it is. He's obviously give his prediction. But make sure to follow, social, subscribe. There will be a reaction out Saturday after the game. Hopefully, we can somehow get some positiveness or a positive result. But we'll see. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Up the gas.